Alright, so we're back taking another look at cured meats as part of our What's This Cured Meat series, brought to you by La Quercia, and you can check them out online at laquercia.us. La Quercia produces some of the nation's best cured meats. So far we've covered prosciutto as well as their speck, and today we'll be moving on to pancetta. All of their meats are sustainably sourced and they are aged, processed, and cured with the finest techniques and methods in the world. They produce really some of the most delicious meat products around. You can find them at your local grocery stores that are on the higher end side, or you can get them online at laquercia.us. Seek them out, you will not be disappointed. So today's topic is pancetta, and you might be asking yourself, what is pancetta? Pancetta, in a sense, is Italian bacon. It's extremely popular in Italy as well as in Spain, and it shares some properties with American bacon, but just some. The things that pancetta and American bacon have in common are generally that they're both made from the belly of the pig, and they're both cured. Even in the curing process, pancetta employs different flavors than American bacon. It's not uncommon to find garlic, peppercorns, red pepper flakes, as well as some clove inside of pancetta. So in the pancetta making process, after it is cured, it is wiped clean and then it dries for a period of time. At that point, there are one of two things that can happen. One is that the meat gets laid out flat and it gets dried into a big bar which mostly resembles American bacon. This process is called desa. Another preparation for pancetta, and the type that we'll be using today, is that after it is cured and wiped off, the pancetta meat is actually rolled up, and the purpose of this, and one of the benefits of it, is that it helps to evenly distribute the moisture. So the fattier parts that have a little bit more moisture help permeate and penetrate into the leaner parts that might have less moisture, and creates a more even, more balanced finished product. Now, traditionally, pancetta is used as a seasoning meat, which means that people are using the pancetta in things like sauces and such. When you go to buy pancetta at the grocery store, look very carefully at what you're buying. Some pancetta has nitrates. I would stay away from that. On the whole, most pancetta requires you to cook it before consuming it. However, the La Quercia pancetta is produced in a way that allows you to eat it right out of the package without cooking it up. However, in today's recipe, we are going to warm it up a little bit, get some of the fat to soften up, render out just a little bit without charring it or crisping it too much. So what is it that we'll be cooking, you might ask? Pancetta with herbed eggs on buttermilk biscuits. Sift together 4 cups of flour, which is about 20 ounces, with 5 teaspoons of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, a teaspoon of salt, and a tablespoon and a half of sugar. Now cut 5.5 ounces or 1 1/3 sticks of butter into cubes and immediately scatter them over the dry ingredients. You want your butter to be freezing cold, not frozen, but really, really cold. With a sort of snapping motion, break the butter in as quickly as possible so it doesn't melt. You want to get these little chunks a little bit bigger than peas. Now pour 1 1/2 cups of buttermilk around the bowl a bit at a time and use a rubber spatula to start to mix it together. Transfer your whole mixture onto a floured cutting board and push it around until they come together. If it's too totally dry, add a little bit more buttermilk. You want it to just hold together, you don't want a globby mess. If you have a globby mess, you need to add more flour. Pat the dough out into a square that's about 3/4 of an inch thick and use your knife to cut squares. Brush with some milk and sprinkle with some sea salt. Bake in a preheated oven at 375 degrees for about 15 to 20 minutes. Now to make the herbed eggs. First, add 2 eggs per person in a saucepan and 1 tablespoon of butter for each egg. I'm using 4 eggs and 4 tablespoons of butter. Turn the heat on to medium and stir with a rubber spatula. Once the eggs start to pull away and solidify, turn the heat off and add some cheese. I'm using a sheep's milk Parmesan, a bit of mascarpone, some pepper, some chopped up sage, or whatever herb you have and like, and salt, and stir it all together. The residual heat from the pan should be more than enough to cook the eggs. You don't want to overcook them, they'll get rubbery. Who wants rubbery eggs? Meanwhile, for the pancetta, cook your pancetta over medium-low heat until it's just a little bit crispy. Now it's assembly time. Biscuit on the bottom, eggs on top, pancetta crown, and then add the other biscuit, and enjoy. So that's how to make buttermilk biscuits with herbed eggs and pancetta. Super delicious recipe. You will wow your friends. Tune in tomorrow for another What's This Food? Check out our sponsor, laquercia.us. And if you have something you want me to cover, you can post it in the comments below or drop me an email, hello@danieldelaney.com. See you tomorrow.